So I wanted to make this video about the overnight spots to stay in. So as I mentioned in one of my previous High Point videos, I use RV Parky, and it's not always reliable because there are reviews that are sometimes old, and I know especially in the Northeast, a lot of Walmarts don't allow it, and those are even posted on RV Parky that they don't. But a lot of others have kind of caught on and maybe have, in the years since those reviews, have stopped allowing it. And so when I went up to Mount Frisell and Jeremoth Hill, I wanted to stay in the parking lot of a Walmart that was there. It was like the only one in their vicinity because there's not that many Cracker Barrels around either. So those are the two, Cracker Barrel and Walmart, are on this RV Parky site, as well as a bunch of campsites. But it's the wintertime and campsites are closed. Anyway, I went to that Walmart and there were signs posted everywhere that said no parking allowed. So no overnight parking allowed. So I didn't want to risk it. There was some parking lot that was like kind of in the back that seemed like it might allow it, but I didn't want to take the chance.
Okay, so I just wanted to go in the app and briefly show you exactly how to go about finding some nearby places to sleep for the night. So the easiest way to do it if you're out, obviously, is to click on that dial in the middle, search near me. That's if you're out and you need to find a place to stay for the night if you're on the road. I'm going to just do it a little bit of a different way because I am currently planning a trip and my next stop is Hoy Crest, the high point of Maryland. And so I want to just do this from a planning perspective. So the trail to get to the peak of Maryland actually begins in Silver Lake, West Virginia. And so I'm going to put that in and search, and as you can see, it brings up a map. It's very straightforward. There's no bells and whistles with this app. As you could tell probably from the beginning, it opened very quickly, and it serves its purpose because the bells and whistles would only drag the app down, especially if you don't have service or if you're in a bind and you need this to work quickly. This app is going to work very quickly for you. So this has me in the vicinity of where the beginning of the path is, and so I'm going to pull out, and just so you can see, it starts to populate as you pull closer and closer in or out. But we're going to go down here, and I'm going to look at these Walmarts. So the green icons are campsites. They're going to be season dependent, and so as you can see, it tells you how much it costs, and this can be plus or minus here and there. I noticed on my first road trip that there were some inconsistencies to the price, although for the most part it was at least +2, -2. It was very close to what's listed here, but as you can see, you got these different parks with these different campsites. It gives you some icons as to what's included there. I'll get into the reviews later. We also have these little trailer ones. These are RV parks and campgrounds, so this can also be dual. You could find campgrounds this way as well, but these are more for RV hookups. So if you have an RV or a trailer, you're going to want to use those, as these tent ones are mostly tent sites, although you can see on that one it has some hookups. But that's the difference between the two of those. As you can tell, there's really not much around here in terms of locations or businesses. So I'm going to click on this one here, Walmart Supercenter. As you can see, it says overnight parking, and I mentioned earlier in the video that you're going to have to really check to see if this is the truth. And how to do that is, the easiest way is to just click on the location. It says users report overnight parking is allowed, and I love to see the images here. That's a great sign, despite there being only a couple of reviews. But the main way, even past that, is to scroll down to the reviews. Now, as you can see here, they have 2 reviews. And that's enough if the dates are applicable. And so to me, seeing this quiet and spacious uh, um, review on the bottom coming from May of 2022, that's a pretty good sign that they allow it. 2018 is 4 years away, or 4 years in the past, and so it's not a great indication, but combined with the 2021, that's a pretty solid indication that they're going to allow it. Now, you can also call ahead, as you can see on the top here. You can call, you can visit the website, which is kind of usually just the generic website, or you could go there if you're close by and talk to somebody, or even just go there and see the signs in the parking lot, because if they don't allow it, it will be posted. If it says it allows it on this app, then you're and there's no signs posted, you're more than likely okay to park there. Okay, so if we go back, there's some filters here. So you could take away some of these icons. I mean, they even show casinos. I know I used that when I was on my trip. There was a casino listed that really worked. Cracker Barrels you'll find more towards the west and central. But you also have these truck stops and gas stations and rest areas. So it's all there. You can choose to, take some of these off. I know with the rest areas, as I'm showing you, some of them don't have reviews, but usually rest areas, if they have parking, truckers, that's the point of a rest area, right? Is to allow that kind of stuff. If you click this and click this one has 3 reviews. And we're going to see here that this is a little bit more questionable now. Because it's a rest area, I would say you're probably okay. But we have 2015, 2013, 2013. If this was a Walmart, I would seek more information before going, if you're planning a trip. Now, if you're nearby, as I mentioned, it's pretty easy to go over there. But as a rest area goes, it's pretty much allowed. And in fact, you won't see reviews because it's just pretty standard that you'll be able to park there. So if we go over here, let's go over to Rhode Island. So when I went over to Rhode Island to stay, a lot of the ones in the cities, city limits aren't going to allow them. As you can tell, all of these within this Providence area aren't going to allow overnight parking. I wanted to see if I could find. Okay, this was it, North Wyndham. So this is just an example of a questionable one. Okay, so North Wyndham Walmart Supercenter says overnight parking is allowed, right? No icons but the sleep one. 2 reviews. So when you click this, I'm going to go down and show you. See, these reviews are from 2017 and 2015. I've gone to this one. This was actually one I planned to do when I was in Connecticut. Doing the Connecticut High Point and going over to Rhode Island, and I targeted that one. I went there, and there are signs now posted, no parking, no overnight parking, I should say. So, there's a lot that's kind of away from those signs, and it's like a gamble a little bit, and so I didn't feel safe doing it or comfortable doing it there. Some of the reviews on Google, when I searched it from the location, said that it was questionable. But 2017 is not, recent enough. And so this is an outdated listing. This should say no overnight parking allowed, as that has changed. So that's the important part about using the reviews to really solidify its availability. As you can see here, there's casinos, and usually you got to get a player card. But things with no reviews, rest areas probably are okay. Tent sites and these campgrounds, RV campgrounds, are probably okay, but most of them are going to have reviews. So if they don't have a review, the key here is to check the dates of the review to make sure they're recent enough. I would say 2 to 3 years max in the past is going to be the least, the furthest back you want to go or you want to see to feel comfortable with trying it. Or to feel comfortable that it's still allowed, I should say. And then you're going to want to check the dates of the reviews, and then you're going to want to make sure through some other means that it's allowed, whether you go and see the sign or you call ahead or even just search Google and see what some of the other sites say, because there are plenty of these to go around in terms of the web and in apps. I find this one to be the most straightforward, and as I mentioned, it is very simple, and so it allows you to quickly access it. Now you could put trips in here. I haven't really used much of this. Favorites, journal is here, but the map, it is what it is, and that's what you need it for, is this simple list of places to stay. So that's the app.
Some other apps out there that I might go into, but RV Parky does tend to be the better one for me, and especially going west and south. It's way more acceptable out there to sleep in parking lots, and way more Walmarts, and there's Cracker Barrels everywhere out there. And so that's much easier to do. And so I used it a lot on my cross-country trip. But it's useful everywhere. It's just a matter of finding the right spots and not getting tripped up by reviews that were, a little too far in the past, because that can change things. So let's see how this parking lot is. So RV Parky was right, and that review really kind of helped me out, because we got here and no signs saying no parking. In fact, we got some trucks already here and some trailers, and there's a bunch of establishments around here. Walmart right back there. So the RV Parky listing for this Walmart is pretty accurate, and we're good to go for tonight.